Everybody, good morning. Welcome from Rialto Beach in the Olympic National Forest here in the great state of Washington. That's the mighty Pacific Ocean behind me. Nice rough seas this morning as I am going to talk to you about Module 7, the final week of MSOM 601. Module 7 this week talks about application strategies. Wouldn't it be nice to have a class that you can actually use, right? Rather than just check it off the box and say, okay, done with that, on to the next one. And so this week, I hope that we're able to introduce some concepts for you that you'll be able to apply and take forward, not only in your business and professional life, but in your personal life as well. You have 3 chapters this week. Chapter 15 talks about how to write sound and effective arguments. And sound and effective arguments, when you think about it, really help to avoid confusion. How often have you been faced with something where the presenter or someone you're talking with presents something to you and you just don't connect, and come to find out they're talking about something that is different, maybe slightly different, maybe a whole lot different than what you had thought. And so not only in writing these sound and effective arguments, but I think it's going to help you out in your careers as you go forward to make sure that you have that degree of clarity, okay? Chapter 16 talks about ethical decision making. Well, what's a class without ethics, right? And so you'll be presented some strategies in those areas. Chapter 17 talks about the logic of declarative statements. The logic of declarative statements. And a lot of the reason to look at these things is really to avoid confusion, but to avoid misunderstandings as well. And so in Chapter 17, you're going to be presented with a lot of technical framing, if you will, of your exercises. A lot of the use of conjunctive words that sometimes add and kind of muck stuff up, you know. And so you want to get that garbage out of your writing and your thinking, and to be very, very clear as you add words into that. And by the way, that's one of the reasons that I am very clear and kind of focused on making sure that you take a lot of the unnecessary words out of your communication. Because words that do not serve a purpose sometimes can add to misunderstandings, right? So 3 chapters this week. The last 2 chapters in the book I don't use because they're focused a little bit more on specific professions, social sciences, and those types of things. So read those if you want to on your own, but just chapter 15, 16, and 17 this week. The discussion is one that perhaps some of you who have a Six Sigma background have used in the past, and it's the is not technique in problem solving and getting to the root of a problem. This is also known as root cause analysis, and my hope is that you'll watch this video. Sorry, it's kind of grainy and kind of hard to understand sometimes, but my hope is that you'll be able to use it. I've used this process before in problem solving in my career over the years, and so I always find that it's very helpful to get to the root of a problem. And so that is the is not technique of problem solving. The application this week focuses on writing effective arguments. Writing effective arguments. Now, when I use the word argument, again, define, right? When I use the word argument, I'm not talking about you and I disagreeing and going at it. What I'm talking about is a proposal. I'm talking about acceptance, anything that tries to convince someone. And so my hope is that you'll be able to use this to argue for a salary increase, argue for your proposal, argue for acceptance of your idea. Again, anything to convince. And so I think this perhaps can have great application for you. You're also going to be introduced to a phrase called the rhetorical situation. And there are 4 elements that frame up the rhetorical situation. I want you to include those in your paper as well. All right, this is it. You're not going to hear from me again until perhaps you take MSOM 602. Then you'll see my ugly mug again. But it's been a pleasure having you in the class, in your first class here in the MSOM program. And I encourage you to reach out to me, not only in the times that you have me in class, but one of the best blessings that I have as an instructor is to be able to help students after they get out of the class. I have helped students start companies before, believe it or not. I have had students ask me for referrals, for recommendations, and I do that with great joy. So thank you. It's been a pleasure. And if some of you are taking MSOM 602 in the next term or the term after that, then I'll see you then. Take care.